Welcome to Cult Connections. Let's see what we are taking a sideways look at today. Today we are talking films, as always. We are talking hotels, and we are talking a board game. And to go over that with me, I have a very special guest, and that is Paul Tomlinson from Mugs Games. How are you, Paul?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you doing, Ian?
I'm very well. Yeah, I'm really good. So we're here to talk about your new the venture, and that is the Grand Guess Hotel, and that is a brand new their board game, and it's just gone live on their Kickstarter, Paul. They're today. Is that right?
Yeah, I just launched it at kind of 9 a.m. this morning.
Excellent, good. And I think all already things are going well. You're getting a lot of
Yeah, we've raised 10% so far, which is a good start.
Yeah, that's absolutely brilliant. So we're obviously going to talk about the game, and we're going to talk about our favourite films featuring the hotels. But just to start, I think we've all got fond their sort of memories of playing their board games right from an early age. And for you, Paul, so what were those sort of growing up? What were the formative ones that you can think of?
I used to love playing like the simple things like drafts, or the more kind of like tactical things like Risk and Monopoly, which could kind of like take up a whole rainy day in Bolton.
I certainly remember. Yeah, I'm very much the same. My dad loved their Risk,
Yeah,
and so we would have marathon their sort of sessions of that. So me,
yeah, great game.
yeah. So me, my dad, and my two their their brothers. Now I was they're the youngest of the three, so I was always out first. But I would, remember they would be at it just for it felt like hours and hours. But
It would last for hours. I've played it over a number of days. I'm seem to remember. It was just, but I loved it. It was amazing.
yeah, and actually, when you look at it now, it's quite a simple game as well. It's not as in uh, easy to pick up and easy to play.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, definitely. I think the simplest one's the best. And the same rule applies to anything, really, doesn't it?
mhm. And I think it's fair to say that for all we know that their sort of video games are certainly very they're sort of popular, and for us, growing up, we've really seen that whole thing evolving to what we have now. But board games have always sort of been there as well, and and even these days, I mean, for us at their sort of Christmas time, we'll always get a new one, and we like to play it. And I'm sure that your house is very much it's still the same.
Yeah, totally. It's in the days of in being online all the time, I think people appreciate that interaction with something different, and it is a really nice thing to do, which doesn't involve any kind of screens.
Yeah, and it is, and getting the family or your friends actually round the table. It's such a great thing, and it's
Yeah,
it's
it's fantastic,
yeah,
but it also takes it a kind of like a sort of different, slightly different kind of meaning, or a kind of excitement when you play as an adult, because you can just have a couple of drinks and yeah, have some food, and you're playing away, which is what
yeah.
we did quite a lot when we were testing this game.
Excellent. So just to sort of tell me briefly about the game and how it works.
Well, it's quite a simple concept, really. It's kind of inspired by Guess Who, but the original motivation was me flicking through my records a couple of years ago and just picking out Led Zepp's Physical Graffiti. Now, I don't know if you know the record sleeve. It's this insanely rich sleeve where you can replace the front cover. It's built. It's designed like this tenement block in New York, and you can replace the people that appear in the windows. And it must have cost an absolute fortune to make, but it's a beautiful sleeve. And I was just playing around with that, and I thought, wow, that I kind of like the way you can just replace the faces. And I just thought, I've got a friend who draws amazing faces for a living. What about doing a project together? And he was bang into it. So yeah, that was it.
Is that?
Um,
Yeah, that's a brilliant way there to start. I do actually remember. That I believe that Led Zeppelin 3 has a similar
yeah, it's a
their sort of
slightly
cover.
simpler one. Yeah, but it was
Yeah.
still like you could rotate the faces around that. So I think that they were they had lots of money to spend and they did it on sleeves, which is great.
So certainly the excesses of the 1970s rock and roll,
Totally,
isn't it? So
totally. I can't imagine what went on top of those the record sleeves.
now it's a great their concept, I think, and absolutely when we think about films and some of our favourite films, and there's so many that feature their hotels in lots of sort of different ways, and just as a bit of fun. So they're Paul and they're myself. So we've come up with our top 5 hotel films. So what's at your number 5 there, Paul?
Number 5, I'm just going to go for an easy one, which is like the New York Plaza, just because it features in so many iconic films. From your simple stuff to like Home Alone 2, where he's stood at the reception asking for to pay on his dad's credit card, to kind of like classic Hitchcock and North by Northwest, where Cary Grant sat in the reception drinking cocktails.
Lovely, yeah, and that's I know, and that's it, and it's amazing how these one sort of place their hotels actually through so many films as well, isn't it? It's a fantastic thing to
Totally, yeah, completely.
yeah, um there for me, I've gone for not quite a classic at number 5,
Okay.
but I've gone for the Waldorf Astoria Hotel.
Oh, that's still a classic.
The film maybe not so much. So
Okay.
as featured in the 2000 and the twos Made in Manhattan, starring the J Lo and Ralph Fiennes. Not
I've never seen that film.
it's quite awful. So I wouldn't really rush to go and see that one. Um,
There's plenty of. I've been tweeting and kind of writing about movie hotels since I kind of like just wanted to start, collecting a few followers online, and I think that the Waldorf comes up quite a few times on other films as well. I can't remember
yeah.
off the top of my head, but it's quite an iconic location, isn't it? I think it Ghostbusters. Did they use it?
Ooh.
They might have done it. They might have done the. Might
Yeah.
have used it. Obviously, they used the name the Sedgwick Hotel, but I'm sure it was the Waldorf Astoria. I might be wrong.
Oh, I should. I should probably really know that, and I know some of my friends will be actually sort of
Yeah,
listening in and
yeah.
shouting at me for not for not saying if that one's true or not.
Yeah.
So for you, Paul, so for the day job now, you're involved in the web, their sort of development.
That's correct.
Um, did you have any sort of previous the knowledge of sort of how to make a game or
No, none whatsoever. But I've kind of spent a lot of time with creative people, especially those in Manchester where I used to live, who just have this very much get up and go attitude and just kind of that entrepreneurial spirit where just it doesn't matter if you don't have experience, just go ahead and do it.
do it? Yeah,
Yeah. Which is why this is my second business. I had a luxury chocolate business about 5-10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a kind of travel inspired thing. So I suppose there's a hotel kind of little hotel theme we're running through that as well. And that was called Coco Hernando, and it was connecting places with flavors. So the packaging was all Art Deco in the theme of those beautiful vintage travel posters, and then the flavors would reflect that location as well. And I was selling that in Selfridges and Harvey Nichols, amongst others, for a few years. So that was quite fun.
Mm-hmm. So again, yeah, so very much the luxury market, the side of things, which It does sort of tie in there with the hotel theme, absolutely.
I like
Um,
nice looking things, basically.
yeah. um, so for you, Paul, what's at number four in your films here?
Number four, I would go with. Just give me 1 second. How would I go? Number four. That's a good question. I think I said the Tangiers perhaps because I
Hmm.
absolutely love Robert De Niro's outfits in Casino. It's just he wears about 40 different impeccable suits throughout the show, throughout the film, and as well as much as I love the film, his suits are just like nothing I've seen ever before in a film.
And actually, a smart suit and the hotel actually go together really well, don't they?
Oh God, yeah,
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 that's
absolutely incredible.
a great
Yeah,
pairing. I've gone for a film I really like. It's quite a strange film. It's they're bizarre and they're surreal. Um, but it does feature a hotel, and that's actually Yorgos Lanthimos's The Lobster. I don't know if you've ever seen that film,
I
Paul.
have seen it. Yes, yes,
Yeah,
very interesting film.
yeah, it
Say
is
the
indeed.
least.
Yeah, it
Did
is
you like
indeed.
it?
I love it. Yeah, I think it's a
Yeah.
great film. Yeah, haha. But yeah, I think it's a film that you either love or you or you either get the film or you don't get it. So, but I absolutely do. I love it, and it's yeah, it's a film you need to watch at least once just to
I think so. I've never seen Get See. I've never seen anything like that before.
know.
But it's a fascinating watch, and the cast is amazing, and the concept is insane.
Indeed, yeah. So so obviously, so getting back to the game, and we have already kind of touched on this, but so when thinking about actually making the game, they're sort of designing it and things like that. Um, how much work actually goes into um, the game itself, as in um, the workmanship, or how the game actually works, the sort of mechanics of it.
Well, on a kind of fundamental level, it was just a case of finding an amazing manufacturer, and then going back and forth with prototypes, coming back, testing it, just seeing what we didn't like, what we liked, changing the designs, changing the structure over a 2 year period.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is which is quite a lengthy process, and it's quite an intensive process when you have a short attention span like I do.
And obviously, working as well, and just kind of doing it, when you can, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah, but that's always been one of the reasons why I'm freelance. I've been freelance for a long time, and I can make time when I need time to kind of do other things, and I try to make the most of that opportunity.
Um, Now, obviously, you're not, doing this on your own. You have got a their partner. Um, so, so tell me about how that works. Is it a 50-50 split, or?
Yeah, I think it's a tricky one, isn't it? Trying to split stuff. So I think 50-50 is probably the easiest way to do these things. Otherwise, it just gets weird. Stanley's like an old mate of mine from Manchester who's become this kind of like over the last decade or so, just this incredible world-renowned artist. The way he can just interpret somebody's face is quite amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And especially given and just with that nice kind of like style he adds to it like slightly 60s hint on in there. Yeah, he manages to kind of capture anyone and everyone.
X.
Um,
Uh-huh.
so he was just the obvious person to ask when I had this idea, and he's always up for trying stuff out and using his skills in different ways.
Yeah. Ex, excellent there. Good stuff. Right. So we will move on there to number three. So what's at number three on your list there, Paul?
I'm going to go for the obvious one in the Grand Budapest Hotel. I love Wes Anderson, and
Yeah.
I think that kind of comes through in the kind of what we've done here, the branding and the design. So it's a stellar cast, isn't it? As always, and it's possibly the one that looks the best, I think. So yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I must admit, when we they sort of initially started they talking about this, and it was a good few months back, but that was probably the first film that actually jumped into my head.
Right? Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, when I was thinking about it, it is. I mean, Wes Anderson. I I love his films. I think they're absolutely great.
Yeah.
I know he's not for everyone. I think again, a bit like They're the Lobster. You maybe you either love it or you don't.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but it is a
Definitely.
great, yeah, It's a great film, and I think as well it it shows up actually how a hotel works. Um, on all sides, you know, it shows you a lot of different sides to it, and it's something you
Yeah.
don't always get a good sort of feel of. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's
I'm
a
guessing.
superb choice.
I'm guessing his love for interiors. He must have always wanted to make a film about a hotel. I've never really looked into that, but it just seems like the perfect vehicle for Wes Anderson, really, doesn't it?
It does indeed, doesn't it? Yeah. Um, so obviously you've been working on the game, and uh, uh, you know, I would imagine that a good part of it is actually thinking about, well, who's your the sort of audience for the game, and I'm just wondering how much sort of thought, or who do you think that, you know, would actually really like to play the game?
I think we're looking at a kind of a relatively broad audience. The one of the first, the main market we were looking at was the just people who are into film, but also people who just love nice things. Um, I think it's probably aimed towards more of a 30s, 40s upwards market. Just people who can have got maybe a bit more money to spend and have these nice things knocking around their houses. Um, yeah, I think they were the main characteristics for a target market, really.
Yeah, I must admit, if if you're gonna launch a film based game, I think that's an excellent market because uh, doing the podcast and speaking to lots of people who are very enthusiastic about lots of different their films.
Mm,
Um, I think it's a perfect actual market there to go for because they're going to love a board game,
yeah,
um, and and if it's film there based and it's got a wide sort of remit, and there's lots of different there's sort of elements, as in the kind of people who are featured in it. Yeah,
yeah.
I think you're going to capture a lot there. So I think
Thank
that's
you.
absolutely
We,
excellent.
we've
Yeah,
also tried to offer two methods of playing the game because it's obviously it's very much based on that simple guess who concept, but we've suggested you could play this kind of classic version where you're guessing your opponent's guess based on facial characteristics, or if you really want to go for it, base it on what they've achieved in their film careers.
okay, all right, okay. So yeah, so so the more casual market, the more casual fan, and then the proper um, film film their nerd, as it were. So
Totally, yeah. I'd love to see people playing it like that. Yeah, yeah. I think that's over my head, but yeah, it offers something different. I think.
I can think of loads of people who are going to play the hard version. So um, uh,
Excellent.
quite they're sort of probably myself included, to be honest
Great,
with you.
great,
So yeah.
excellent. I love a film geek.
Well, so actually coming on the to number four, at the number two rather. I'm I'm going to go first on this one because
Go for it.
I actually consulted one of my film nerd sort of groups, as it were. I hope that they don't mind me calling them that. So this is part of this. This is part of the spy their network. So this is a group of their spy film fans that they're active in. So I have gone for, there is an iconic British. Their character, his new film is actually just out there last week. It's absolutely smashing it. It's the one and only their James, their Bond. Now, almost every Bond film features a hotel.
Of course. Yeah.
There is a there's sort of couple that they don't. I did ask my their network, so they just to make sure of that. So I think there's
Yeah.
only two that actually don't have.
Oh, really?
Yeah, of a hotel in it. Now I've gone for for my sort of guilty pleasure Bond film in this one. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that is They Die Another Day. It's not the
Right.
most okay. It's not the most well thought of Bond film.
Yeah.
Um, however, there's a scene in it. So at the start of the film, Bond's there captured. He's in a North, their sort of Korean, their sort of prison for a long their time. He there eventually gets out. He's got long hair and a beard, and he's a bit sort of trampy looking.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he's actually in sort of the hospital, and he breaks out and he wanders into the Ruby on Royal Hotel, in his hospital, their sort of gown and his long
Yeah.
their sort of
Yeah.
hair, and he checks in. But I love it because Brosnan's just got that Bond sort of swagger when he's doing it.
Yeah.
Um,
He was good. He was a good Bond.
yeah, haha. And the hotel are like, oh yeah, come on in there, Mister Bond, and we'll get a suit for you and a haircut and all that, um,
Brilliant.
and then he's back to James Bond as we know him. But I absolutely love that bit. It's not a film that their Bond fans rate that sort of highly. I don't really either, but I love that scene. So
Nice. Well,
yeah,
that's
that's
all it
for
takes
me.
sometimes.
Yeah, haha. So how about you, Paul?
I would go with the hotel from the iconic Shining, the Overlook Hotel, just because that's just the whole incredible film based around an incredible hotel, and some of those scenes are just well, just golden, aren't they? Really,
Yeah,
uh,
haha.
fantastic, fantastic. And I went to the I don't know if you did you go to that Cubic exhibition in London a couple of years ago.
No, no.
There was a complete retrospective, and they had the typewriter there, they had the
Oh,
axe there, and I
uh-huh.
was like, oh my god, this is blowing my mind. Yeah, even had the paper, even had the typewritten pages out on the typewriter. It was amazing. Yeah, so yeah, that's an incredible hotel.
It's absolutely fascinating. So I do know that the outside of the hotel, that's obviously a real hotel.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, and I think it's in. Oh, I'm trying to remember the state. It's on the west coast anyway. It's on the
yeah,
west coast of the states. Um, the the inside's all done at I think it was Elstree or their Pinewood.
right,
So
okay, yeah,
all
yeah.
all all actual it's purely their set, but it's a fantastic set. It's just
Oh,
absolutely
insane.
brilliant.
Yeah,
Yeah, haha.
no one did sets like Kubrick, really, did they?
No, I mean it's like the detail there, and obviously the way that he there shot it, and but you're absolutely right. It's a fantastic film. It's got
Yeah,
such great the imagery.
yeah.
Um, it's not a hotel that you'd really want to stay in, or not at winter time anyway. So,
Not a great promotional film for that hotel.
well, actually, I think that the hotel that's featured for the outside of it actually loves it because it draws
Oh
in
yeah,
loads of
I bet.
people,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
everybody actually wants to stay in
Sure,
the hotel. But
sure,
uh,
sure.
yeah, it's certainly the stuff of their nightmares, isn't it? So
Totally. And Jack
yeah.
Nicholson's just insane. Absolutely insane in that film.
um, so like you said, so you've launched there today, there, Paul.
Yeah.
So where can we find you? Where can we find all of the links and such like?
Yeah, you can all find links where you can search on Kickstarter, the Grand Guest Hotel, or you can find them all on my socials, which is mugs_underscore games, Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, or it's mugs-games.com, our website. So there's plenty of inroads to get into the crowdfunding page.
Excellent, superb. Now I think like the many hotels, they don't have a room. They're 13, and I actually think I've missed out one film on our list, so which doesn't bode well for that one.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So 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 actually, Bond moves into third place for me. In their second place, and you've just actually spoken about a very spooky hotel
yeah,
in the Overlook Hotel from the Shining.
yeah.
But for me, in their second place, I'm actually going to go for another very spooky hotel. However, this one's a bit more family friendly, thankfully,
Okay.
and that's it. And that's 2012's Hotel Transylvania,
Nice.
which is a lovely film,
Yeah, that's a good one.
and it is a nice one. Yeah. So how about you, Paul? What's in number two there?
I think it's The Shining, not my number two. I think I've given
Oh,
you four now.
did you? Have you?
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, yeah, I've given you four there. I can.
Oh dear.
Only got one left on my list here. I can give you six if you want.
No, you're all right. They give me the last one. Let's go for
Okay,
that.
last one. I'll go with the Park Hyatt Hotel in Tokyo because I love Lost in Translation. I love Bill Murray. I love that soundtrack. And I think it's a super stylish film that just kind of really does encapsulate what it's like to be on your own in a weird city.
yeah, definitely a lovely film.
Yeah,
The award-winning film as well.
yeah,
And actually, that ties in there nicely to mine. So for me, for number one, I'm actually going all the way back to 1932. Um, and this is a star-studded film. So this is Grand Hotel,
yeah.
and it featured the Greta Garbo,
Amazing.
John the Barrymore, a
Great.
huge star at the time, Joan the Crawford, and John Barrymore's father Lionel as well,
Wow.
who was a huge their star. Now, interestingly, this is a film that sits on its own, and that it won the Oscar for best their picture,
Really?
and it's the only Oscar-winning Best Picture film that wasn't they nominated in any other their category.
Wow. Wow. That's
Yeah,
interesting, isn't it?
it is so absolutely. It stands on its own.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And it's I've never seen it. Is it you absolutely love the film, do you?
It's very much it's a 1930s film, but
Right.
the characters are great. It's they're one of the things that I always find, and I've covered a few their films from their 30s, is that the technical aspects of it, the film sort of making of it, is always absolutely brilliant, and it's
Mm.
um, they amaze me in how sort of great that the films themselves look,
Yeah.
how the sets are,
Yeah.
all of those sort of aspects. And when we think about, sometimes we think about films from the 30s as being quite they're sort of stagey in some ways and
Mm.
maybe a little bit
Mm.
flat,
Yeah.
but for me, they always sort of stand out in that they are proper films, and that they were made with real sort of love and
Yeah.
skill, and
Amazing.
and and quite sort of rightly won the Oscar for Best Picture back then.
Fantastic.
So
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
absolutely stands up.
Oh, amazing.
Um,
Check it out.
yeah, please do, because
Yeah.
it probably fits in very well to to your game there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure actually how many people would be able to spot half of the actors now just by their faces, but but it's absolutely superb
Amazing.
film. My the arithmetic there has been a total failure. However, what I'd like to say, Paul, is all the best for the game.
Thank you.
You know, I hope everybody there checks it out. I'll be sticking lots of links here, there, and everywhere. So just to make sure that we can all there find it. Their Christmas isn't that far away, so I think if you're looking for a present for your film their Buff fan, then this should absolutely be on.
Yeah, I'd like to add there's no chance of coming out for Christmas. Christmas 2022 maybe.
Well, absolutely.
The current state of the world is creating problems outside of my control, I'm afraid.
Yeah, yeah, and that's it, and that's what we're seeing everywhere, doesn't it? So maybe like their Bond for this week, we will wait with the bated breath until it does actually turn up.
Yeah, that's nice. That's a nice comparison.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? And again, he's in a lovely hotel for there for that one as well. So
of course he is. Yeah. I've not seen the new one. Is it good?
It's very good. I'm not gonna spoil it whatsoever.
Yeah.
But go off and see it. I absolutely loved it. And
brilliant. I'm planning to go this week.
Oh well, yeah. I'm gonna go back as well. I'm gonna see it at least twice.
Oh, brilliant. That's a high recommendation then.
Yeah, definitely. So anyway, thank you, Paul, and all the best. Thanks for listening to this episode of Cult Connections. Please like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and we would love it if you left a review. Follow us on Twitter at Connections Cult for more fun, share your ideas, and maybe even be on the show. Thank you.